Okay, let's unpack this, that feeling. You know the one, right? You're putting in all this effort, the early jogs, maybe hitting the gym, choosing the salad.
Yeah.
And then you step on the scale and it's like, nothing's happening. Or not nearly as much as you'd expect. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Because, well, you're definitely not alone if it has.
It's such a common frustration, and it really gets to a core question we should probably ask. How effective is exercise, by itself for actually losing weight?
Right.
That's really what we're digging into today.
Exactly. And to guide us, we're looking at the science presented in that Kurzgesagt video, the updated one. We need to rethink exercise. They did their own sort of investigation, and our job here is to pull out the key stuff, separate the facts from maybe the myths, and give you a clear picture of how exercise actually fits into managing weight.
And, right off the bat, but there's something that might surprise you, actually. The science suggests that the number of calories someone really active burns each day, well, it might not be that much higher than someone who's pretty sedentary.
Wait, really? That seems wrong. Okay, let's get into this whole myth of the workout for weight loss then. The video starts by comparing us, in our industrialized societies with our desk jobs and cars.
Yeah, sedentary lifestyles.
With hunter-gatherer groups like the Hadza in Tanzania, people whose whole life involves, well, a lot of physical activity.
It's fascinating stuff. When you look at the Hadza, they walk an average of 9 kilometers, what's that, over 5 miles?
Wow.
Every single day.
Wow.
Just finding food, hunting, gathering. That's way more activity than most of us get in a week, probably. So you'd naturally think, okay, their calorie burn must be massive.
Absolutely. All that moving around. Surely that burns tons of calories, right? But that's the twist the video points out. The Hadza, on average, burn roughly the same amount of calories daily as people like us in industrialized countries. About 1,900 for women, 2,600 for men. It feels completely backwards.
It really does seem counterintuitive. And the research indicates this isn't just a one-off with the Hadza. They've seen similar things studying other groups too. And what's also interesting is when they look within industrialized countries, they found that, more active people do burn more calories than less active people. The difference. Sometimes it's surprisingly small.
How small?
Like maybe only around 100 calories a day more. That's basically an apple.
So I go bust my gut in a spin class, and I've essentially only burned off an apple. That's not very motivating if weight loss is your main goal.
It can feel that way, definitely. And the video brings up this idea of a sort of fixed calorie budget per kilo of muscle that our bodies seem to stick to long term. Like our body tries to keep energy use per pound of tissue pretty stable.
Okay, so even if I build muscle, which is good for lots of things, obviously the boost to my daily calorie burn specifically for losing weight might not be as big as people say.
That seems to be the case, yeah. And the video also touches on how our bodies can be a bit sneaky, subconsciously working against our weight loss goals when we exercise more.
Sneaky how?
Well, you might just find yourself, taking the lift instead of the stairs without thinking, or maybe sitting more when you hang out with friends, or even just sleeping a bit longer. Little things that cut down your non-exercise activity.
Ah, so it balances out the workout burn.
Exactly. You can partially offset it. It's almost like our bodies have this built-in thermostat for energy output. You turn it up with exercise.
And it quietly turns down the heating somewhere else.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah. Now, the video does say, look, if someone goes from being really inactive to exercising regularly, they often do lose some weight initially. That change can be significant enough to push the body to burn more for a bit.
Okay, so there is some effect at first.
Yes, but that initial success often doesn't last, does it?
Right, the dreaded plateau.
Exactly.
What?
The body adapts, it gets more efficient at the exercise, so that extra calorie burn you got at the start, it often levels off or even drops back down over a few months, sometimes right back to where you started before you took up exercise.
That explains why those plateaus feel so frustrating. Now, what about the muscle thing? People always say muscle burns more calories than fat, even at rest. Build muscle, boost your metabolism.
Right, and that is technically true. Muscle tissue does burn more calories at rest than fat tissue does, maybe about 3 times more, pound for pound.
Okay.
But, and this is the key point the video makes, your organs, your brain, skin, liver, intestines, they're much bigger metabolically speaking. They account for way more of your resting calorie burn overall.
Ah, I see. So building muscle is great for strength, getting around, general health, but maybe not the magic bullet for melting fat off just by existing.
Precisely. Its contribution to overall weight loss compared to other factors seems relatively small according to this research.
Got it.
And this ties into why our bodies might seem to sort of sabotage weight loss through exercise. The video suggests we evolved with this kind of activity budget, meaning a certain level of movement was just necessary for survival back when we had to actively hunt and gather food every day.
Right, when dinner didn't come from a delivery app.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So fast forward to today. Food's everywhere. Exercise is optional for many. What happens with the energy we're not spending on that essential ancestral level of movement?
Okay, yeah, where does that energy go? This is where it gets really interesting.
Well, the video proposes that if there's extra energy sloshing around, our bodies might actually divert it to things that aren't so great for us long term.
Like what?
One big area they point to is the immune system. Inflammation is crucial for healing when you get injured or fight infection.
Right, it's a necessary response.
But it also causes damage, so it needs tight control. The idea is if the immune system has sort of spare energy, it might become overactive. This could lead to chronic low-grade inflammation.
And we keep hearing how chronic inflammation is linked to all sorts of major problems, heart disease, cancer. So a body that's running on a tighter energy budget might actually manage inflammation better.
That's the implication, yeah. They also talk about hormones, especially cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yes, cortisol.
Our ancestors needed it for those fight or flight moments, bursts of activity. But today, our bodies might be pumping out extra cortisol, sort of anticipating physical demands that don't always happen. And that can contribute to chronic stress and all the health issues that come with it.
So it's like the body is wired for regular movement. If it doesn't get it, it still uses a similar amount of energy overall, but maybe spends it on.
Well, stupid stuff like overactive immune responses and unnecessary stress hormones.
That's the core idea presented, yes. The energy you burn in a workout might be partly compensated for by your body dialing back on other physical activities and maybe some of these internal processes. It's not a perfect trade-off, but it helps explain why the net increase in daily calorie burn from exercise might not be as big as we'd hope for weight loss.
Okay, so exercise might not be the magic weight loss pill we thought. But, and this is crucial, the video really pivots here, doesn't it? It hammers home that exercise is still incredibly good for you. Absolutely essential point. Even if it's not the main driver for shedding pounds, the benefits of regular physical activity for just, well, health are undeniable and backed by tons of research.
Yeah, like what specifically?
The video highlights how it helps cut down chronic inflammation and stress. It's brilliant for your heart, your blood vessels. It can ease depression symptoms and basically contributes to a longer life and a better quality of life too.
It's about restoring that internal balance, as they put it. So even if the number on the scale isn't shifting how you want, the exercise itself is still doing really important, beneficial things inside your body.
Exactly that. Don't stop exercising thinking it's pointless for health. Now, the video also gets into the evolutionary backstory of why we seem to have this, insatiable hunger sometimes, which is key to understanding why weight management is so tough.
Okay.
Think about our ancestors. Finding food was hard work.
Right.
And success wasn't guaranteed day to day.
You had to really earn those calories, no guarantees.
Precisely. So imagine if doing extra movement, maybe tracking an animal further, caused a huge spike in your calorie needs. That could be disastrous if food was already scarce.
Yeah, it'd be a starvation spiral. You need more food, so you have to work harder, which makes you need even more food.
Exactly, a dangerous loop. So the theory is humans evolved this ability to move quite a lot without dramatically increasing our daily energy requirements. It was a survival mechanism.
That makes sense.
And this helps frame why the obesity crisis today probably isn't just about laziness or lack of exercise. It's more about the environment, the sheer abundance of easy-to-get, high-calorie food.
And the video mentions a couple of big evolutionary reasons for our intense drive for calories, doesn't it? Starting with our brains.
Yes, our brains are incredibly greedy for energy. They use about 20% of our resting calories. That's roughly twice as much as apes' brains use.
Wow.
And then there's the fact human kids are dependent for so long. That requires a huge, sustained calorie investment from the adults caring for them.
So basically, we evolved to be calorie-seeking machines because our brains and our kids needed so much fuel.
That's the idea. We got really good at it. The video notes human foragers could pull in, 3,000 to 5,000 calories in maybe 5 hours. Compare that to apes getting maybe 1,500 in the same time.
And we're social about it too, right?
Yeah.
Sharing the load, sharing the food.
Exactly. Different skills, cooperation, sharing it all. boosted our calorie harvesting efficiency. So this constant urge to find and eat calories is not a modern failing. It's a deeply rooted evolutionary feature that used to be a massive advantage.
Not a bug, but a feature, as they say.
Right. But in today's world with supermarkets and fast food, that feature kind of backfires,
Yeah.
leading us to easily overconsume. And this circles back to weight loss.
Yeah.
The video basically concludes that if fat loss is the goal, the main lever to pull is reducing calorie intake. Diet is key.
Which they say they'll dive into more later, focusing on diet itself. So, okay, wrapping up the exercise part. The big takeaway seems to be, look, exercise has massive health benefits, absolutely crucial ones, but if you're relying on it alone to cause significant lasting fat loss, well, for most people, that's probably not going to happen without also managing your diet.
That really sums it up. It might be a bit deflating if weight loss was your only reason for exercising, but the more vital message is keep exercising. It's fundamental for overall health, resilience against disease, preventing so many chronic issues. It really does lead to a longer and better life. Physical fitness is just one massive piece of that puzzle.
Right, and the video kind of ends by saying, physical fitness, that's just one side of the coin, which leads us nicely into the outro, talking about the other side, mental fitness.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we need a healthy body, we need a fit, active mind to navigate life well. The video mentions resources like Brilliant as a way to cultivate that mental sharpness. They have these hands-on lessons, bite-sized things
Right.
across loads of subjects, AI, physics, math, you name it. Learning by doing, by discovering.
And they actually partnered with Brilliant, didn't they? To make lessons that go deeper into the topics from the Kurzgesagt videos themselves. That sounds like a pretty cool way to really get stuck into the science. It's all about that lifelong learning habit, which, is a pretty good way to spend your time.
Absolutely. And they also mentioned their guide to curiosity, right? Another tool just to help you engage more with the world, stay curious, keep exploring beyond just watching videos.
Yeah. So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Perhaps the real workout isn't just about the body, but this dual thing, cultivating both a healthy body and a really curious, active mind. And maybe understanding our evolutionary past, like we talked about today, can actually help us figure out how best to tackle both of those important goals.